Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the RFM audio channel, the place where we get all your tracks sounding energetic. In today's lesson, we are going over automation, where you can start and what you need to think about when automating your track. As always, these lessons are recorded live on Twitch. So if you'd like to join in the live chat, please follow the link down below and hit follow. Also, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and hit the wee bell icon. That way you guys don't miss a thing and it helps out the channel immensely. Anyway, let's now get on with the tutorial. What is automation? Put simply, it is your various effects. It can be your volumes, it can be your panning, it can be moving all of these static values throughout the song. Like changing them, you can change the volume throughout the song, you can change the panning throughout the song, or even the effects throughout the song. Why do we need automation? It keeps the track interesting throughout the whole thing. It keeps the track from becoming stale if volume is going up and down, and it can breathe a new sense of life into your track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks and ideas that you can implement into your automation in your track. Now, as I said, a lot of this is usually done right at the end of your track because your mixing decisions can really be based off of the volume of certain things. So I recommend usually doing a lot of this all at the end of your mixing. However, there are certain circumstances where it might not be right to do it at the end. You might need to do it right at the start. And I have covered that actually. I covered it with vocals mainly. I like to automate each individual line in the vocal very meticulously. Right, so I've got the track here. I've actually already done a little bit of automation. If you remember last week, we actually did stem mixing and mastering. To actually keep the things going, just to keep them all in one place. I've already got a little bit of automation started here, but you can just ignore that for just now. That's fine. Right, let's just have a listen to the track once through, and then we can decide what needs some serious automation. Helps if I actually put my headphones on, that way I can hear it. You guys might be able to hear it, but I might not. I can't hear it. Being stupid here. I'm either falling apart or telling myself I won. A sunny new day of celebration. I can go wasted shots to cold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it, but I'm gonna need some self-control. The weatherman say I better make plans. I'm in over my head and under your hands. We all know that there's next, we all know how it ends. Yeah, all my tables they shut and running out of just for friends. A sunny new day of celebration. I can waste it just to go. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it, but I'm gonna need some self-control. A sunny new day of celebration. I can waste it shots of gold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-control. I'm gonna find myself some. I'm gonna need some self-control. I'm sure you guys are already fed up with hearing that, but we're gonna be doing it a lot, so you're just gonna have to get used to it. You're just gonna have to suck it up, really. That's what mixing's about. It's about listening to a song over and over again until you just cannot be arsed with it anymore. Anyway, first thing I'm actually going to go over with automation is your workflow. I feel like the workflow is quite important. People have different preferences of how they work in automation, but this is how I like to do it. This is how I feel is the best way of working through automation. And I basically do everything backwards, right? Now, what I mean by backwards is I will work on the outro first, mainly because the outro should be your most exciting, should be the most exciting part of the track, right? It is the last and final bit. Let's end on a high note, right? It should be your strongest part. It should be your loudest part. It should be your most exciting and have most of your effects in it if you're really kind of going ham with all effects on it. So what I usually like to do is I usually like to keep things at 0. Sometimes I might push them a wee bit forward. As you can see, I've actually already automated the volume on the vocals right here. And if I remember right, that's actually the most... Okay, that's not a 0. It's at plus 2 dB, but that is the highest it goes. No, the highest it goes is here. What I might do is I might push that a little bit higher, just to be above that.
A sunny new day, celebration. I'm a king of wasted.
That's a little bit too forward.
If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some. I'm gonna need some self-control.
So when it comes to thinking about automation, you have to learn when it's appropriate to push things forward and when it's appropriate to pull things back. Like I said, I like going backwards, so usually I'm doing a lot more pulling back than pushing forwards. But sometimes I just might not have the headroom, or not even headroom, but I might just not have the particular. I might just have not enough volume at 0, even if I bring everything down. I just like to push it a little bit higher. So we're going to work through these vocals. I'm going to give you a reason for my demonstration on the volumes I currently have for the tracks just now. So right now I have this at the highest.
A sunny new day, celebration. I'm a king of wasted shots of gold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it.
Now I think this bit is the part that's most forward. I still feel like this vocal's lacking something, but I'm going to come back to that. I do actually have a little bit of a trick up my sleeve for making it a little bit more exciting, and partly to do with automation as well. Now, I don't think I actually went through all the parts. Each individual part in a song, if you're going for the traditional ABAC tracks where you've got your intro, you've got your chorus, you've got your verse, chorus, bridge, then outro. To me, the outro is the most exciting part of the track. The next most exciting parts of the track are the chorus. Now, you might want to consider chorus 1 and 2. Usually I find that I have chorus 2 sounding a little bit more exciting than chorus 1. Then I would say it's the verses. The verses are usually like a little bit more reserved, a little bit more pulled back. That way when the chorus comes in or the outro comes in, mainly the chorus, when the chorus comes in, it punches harder, it sounds a lot more exciting, it makes you want to like really get to that part. The parts that are at the bottom of the pile are definitely most of the time I put it at the bridge. I would have the bridge as the least exciting part. The reasons for that is because the bridge is usually before the outro, the most exciting part. Now, you'll find that the track will punch harder if you pull back. I mean, if you're thinking of an actual punch, you need to pull back enough to actually punch. If you punch from there, it's not going to be effective, is it? No. So, what I like to do is I like to pull back the bridge the most, even sometimes more than the outro. The outro will definitely be less than the chorus, but it will still have a little bit more volume than the bridge. So, in terms from most exciting to least exciting, I go outro, chorus, chorus 2, chorus 1. The verse, intro, then bridge. So this is why I like to move backwards, because I like to make sure that the outro is at the most outstanding part, and then when I work my way down those parts, all I'm doing is pulling back. I'm not really doing a lot of adding to anything. I'm just pulling out certain parts. Now, in this section, what I decided to do was, instead of having the vocal uniform, I thought in this section, I'll make it sound like it's far more distant. It's a bit further away. And I actually thought at that part, I would have the backing vocals, which were usually further away than the lead vocals, like almost like in front of it. So the backing vocals are actually closer to the front than the lead vocals at this particular section. You can see here that I also sort of did it in the opposite way. I've brought the chorus back a little bit. Like during the chorus section, the vocal's actually further back rather than the verse where it's pushed forward. That's because during the verses, I want the vocal to sound closer, whereas during the chorus, I want the vocals to sound further away. And I still have a couple of things, like I said, I'll get to that in a second, that I'm actually going with. So yeah, it sounds quieter, definitely. It might be a strange choice from what I'm actually been saying this whole time. I think the next bit I will go to is I'm going to work on the volume with the drums. I feel like this needs a little bit of work to make those drums sound a little bit punchier, a little bit more exciting. So right now, we've got the intro section. See that little bit of hi-hat, I think that is? I don't really want it to, or even the cymbal. I don't want it to be too loud, it's just fine where it is. But this bit, when the drums come in, I want it to slam. So I have put the volume up a little bit, but I feel like it can go a little bit higher. That's better. Right, I've actually brought that down a little bit too low there. Let's just bring it up slightly. Let's see what this bit sounds like. Now the reason I bring the drums there is I want the vocal to still have a little bit more room, even though we're pulling it back. Right. Come the verses, I'm definitely gonna let it drop. Right, this bit I want to actually push slightly up. Just because it's still a little bit. And then come the next chorus. Come this bit. Okay, so come this bit, we're gonna push it up. Just ever so slightly. Now this bridge we're going to do something slightly different. Now there's a part where the guitars are the focus of this. It's like right as the bridge comes in, you can hear the guitars are the main focus of this track. Do, 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 do. And then the drums have their time to shine. Usually, actually when the vocals come in. Now there's a lot of toms. Now with this bit, I actually want to make the drums the main focus. So I'm having the guitars there. I'm definitely going to be bringing the guitars up at that point. And then this section. Right. It's that snare hit I want to bring it up at. Right. Okay. Then we're going to bring that up a fair bit. Let's have a try at that anyway. Not that much. Now, with that little, I do want to bring that up for the chorus. That way, everything should be, most of it should be quite loud at that point. A sunny new day, celebration. On a king of wasted shots of gold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. Now, when it comes to this part of automation, I like to make sure that we're doing it in sections rather than individual phrases. When it comes to working with vocals, you might want to take the time to go through all of the individual phrases, all of the different parts, even the different nuances of each and everything the vocalist is saying. Whereas with other instruments, such as the drums and maybe the guitars and stuff like that, if you're going in and being very meticulous, I think you're wasting your time, and you need to go back to the mixing stage of getting your levels right at the drums, or getting your compression right with the guitars and stuff like that. So if it's maybe 1 wee peak that you need to bring down, that's fair enough. But if you have to go through that whole thing, you're doing too much. You should be considering on the arrangement of the song at this point rather than each individual hit.
Will I ever get cold? Will I ever get past the wine? I'm either falling apart or tearing myself away. A sunny new day of celebration. I can't wait to drop the cold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it, but I'm on.
Next. Let's go for the guitars, I should think. Let's go over the volume for this. So there is one thing you can do with automating guitars, or you could probably be a little bit more meticulous with this. If you want to really emphasize the transients, you might want to push the volume up a little bit in those transients.
It's a brand new day, I better get up.
Like that bit there. Could probably do try make a wee peak at that point. Let's see how that sounds.
It's a brand new day, I better get up.
That actually sounds pretty cool. So just as the vocal comes in, and then right after that particular thing goes in. So I just drew that in.
Brand new chance to grow and up. Will I ever get cold? Will I ever get past the wine? I'm either falling apart or tearing
Now, I'm actually going to check out the outro. That's what I said I would use it as.
sunny new day of celebration. I can't wait.
That guitar step definitely needs to go up. So
A sunny new day of celebration.
now I actually cuts that out here.
Shots of gold. If you get a chance.
It actually cuts out here. So what I'll do is I'll make this let's make this bit the bit that actually really pushes forward.
If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some. I'm gonna need some self-control.
Now this bit here, I'm still gonna push it, but not quite as much. I would say, just a bit there.
A sunny new day.
There we go. It punches in a little bit.
I can't waste it.
You think you've got the whole thing, and then
If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some.
might actually do the same with there, where I actually draw it in. Just go right to this little bit here, and then draw it in. Just a wee bump,
If you get a chance, you
just to make it more interesting, and do the same here as well. Just a wee bump at the transient.
a sunny new day of celebration. I can't waste it. Shots of gold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some. I'm gonna need some self-control.
Not bad. Right.
It's a brand new day, I better get.
Let's see how it is with the chorus.
A sunny new day of celebration.
Right, I feel like the chorus bit could come up a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much. Just a tiny bit, just to add some more energy.
A sunny new day of celebration.
But then when it comes to the chorus too, we're going to push it a little bit more.
If you get a chance, you know I'll
Could do the same with this, but push it a little bit more. How much is that? That's -2. That's still a bit much. Let's pull that down slightly. Yeah, see about there. I think it might be worth drawing a slight bump there just so it feels more natural when it comes in. Right, that's the bit in the bridge where I said that the guitars are really taking over charge of that one. So they probably actually need to go slightly louder even. So say we went over like that. So I'm actually just kind of letting that flow out on its own. Nice, 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 nice. So let's hear that come in just a little bit first. Nice. So we got the different sections coming in there. I'm gonna check these dips because sometimes sometimes like the dip and the peak can actually sound quite natural. So I can take a wee bit, just give it a wee bit of a slope. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. Let's make sure this bit sounds okay. Definitely. Right, that's good. That's good. That's good. Let's go for it. Right. So this is kind of a far more simpler one. I do like to just push the chorus a little bit more. Just do it really simple here as well. Same thing, just push the bass guitar up a little bit. So that wee bit there, technically it's still part of the guitar section, isn't it? So, because this is where we will be. So I'm going to push it forward a little bit, not as high as the chorus strum. See that little bit there? Might actually go for a quick. Might actually just choose it there. Actually push that bit of volume up a little bit higher so it actually comes right across. Maybe not as much, a bit much. Yeah, that's cool. Well, let's just give that a little bit of slope so it sounds a lot more natural, sounds a lot more uniform. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Might actually bring that bit forward to contrast the guitars going out. Let's have a try at that, shall we? So what part of it? Let's see from there. Push them up slightly. Yeah. I'm gonna bring it down slightly. I'm actually not too sure of that. Definitely gonna bring the bass guitar up here, just because that's the nice loud bit, shall we say. I know I'm sort of doing this backwards to the way I said it, but I'll do what I want. You can do what you want. Nice, 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 nice. Right, last thing, we shall go to the backing vocals. This, I do feel, actually needs a fair bit of automation in a certain moments. Because I want to bring the vocal up here. So let's hear what these sound like. Right, that section can come up. I know that they're supposed to sound quite distant, so I don't want them up too high. They're overshadowing the lead vocals. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some. I'm gonna need some self-control. A sunny new day, celebration. I can always take shots of gold. If you get a chance, you know I'll take it. I'm gonna need some self-cut. I'm gonna find myself some. See, even with them pushed as high as they are, they're still quite in the background, which is nice. I think they sit quite nicely where they are. How about this section here? So this is the bridge part. When I actually check the bridge part, so this is actually where I would say I actually pushed the backing vocals in it. Because I kind of want them over the lead vocals at this point. Let's try that. All right, let's see about. Let's go for the chorus this wee bit. See, I'm still in a wee bit in the middle about these backing vocals. I'm not sure if I like them or not, but I feel like it's too empty without them as well. So I don't try get rid of them. See, I think that's okay. Is that right? How about this bit? Ah, that's another thing. Mute can be a right powerful option with anything in automation. Sometimes just cutting a certain section out, just a little bit. I could simply delete it if I wanted to, but I might decide to bring it back in. Whereas I think like this section, like this first chorus could do without the backing vocals, and then we have the chorus with the backing vocals. That way it's a little bit more, isn't it? So let's actually just get up the backing vocals and mute the button. Right, yep. Okay, and then we got you here. And what we'll do is we'll just mute that. Just for that little section. Let's see what it sounds like. See if it's actually worth it. I'm going to keep that in there. I'm going to keep that in there just for now, just for that little bit. Okay. Got through that nice and quick. So we've now got we've done all the volume automation. We've even done a little bit of muting as well. There is so many things you can do with automation. You can change EQ parameters. Yeah, you can change any plugin parameter. You can mute, you can pan, you can do all sorts of things like that. It is great fun doing this kind of stuff, and it can really add interest or intrigue to what's going on. Now, we're going to go for one of the biggest parts of like actually muting certain sections. So I have actually got a little bit. I said on the chorus, I felt like the vocal was, I feel like it was really lacking at the chorus section. I feel like it needed a lot more. So what I've done is I've actually created a little bit of a, where is it? I got a slap delay and a little bit of reverb that I've actually muted currently because I wanted to explain to you what I was doing with it. And what I'm doing is I'm only going to have those reverbs and delays sent. I'm only going to be sending the vocal stems to those reverb and delays when the chorus comes in. Now in some DAWs, you can simply mute the channel, which no longer processes the thing. But I found that in Reaper, it processes even when it's muted. So if I unmute the reverb, maybe the tail end of a previous reverb that shouldn't have been there will drop in. So what I've done is instead of automating the mutes for the reverb and delay, I've automated the sends, the mute for the sends. So what I've got here is currently this section has got the reverbs muted. See, it just dropped in there. Right, so you can hear the vocals on its own normally. And then when it comes in, right, just thinking about that, I think that actually those backing vocals do need to come in. So maybe that volume does need to go further on. But those delays kind of like give a little bit more of an interest and intrigue towards the vocals themselves. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out during the next verse. So this section, we are going to mute them. Just going to pull that mute back slightly, just in case I think that picks up that breath a little bit. Yeah, okay, I think I've made the wrong choice in those chorus going back a bit. So I'm going to actually just push them up instead of doing, going to pull. Let's check that since I've brought that volume out, in case it's just a lack of volume. So then when that bit comes in, it's a little bit extra from the last one. Now this bit I'm actually going to keep it in because I want it to sound very distant. Now, some favourite techniques for automation, especially in likes of dance music, is what they'll do is they'll roll off the high ends at a bridge section and then bring all the high ends back in, because those highs can really add to the excitement. Now, I'm not going to do that with a whole track in this instance, but what I am going to do is I'm going to do it with a vocal, because the vocal, with it lowering down, I want it to sound further away, and further away means it's got less high-end information. And all I'm going to simply do is, I've actually already got an EQ up and set to cut off those high ends. And all I'm going to do is bypass it throughout the rest of the track and then enable it for that little section. So again, let's get up. Right, where's that? Fab Filter EQ, but I think it's the second one, isn't it? Yeah. Right. The bypass should be the end. Okay. So we're just gonna have it bypassed at all times. Bypass, and then that section is going to be here. It's going to be on. So if we set it up so should be bypassed, and then through that, that's not where we want it. I've done it too early. It's this section. So let's just do it at this section. All right. I'm a tube. That's just what happens, isn't it? Right. Whoop. Don't need that full screen. I want the reverbs to be kind of more the center. So then as soon as that vocal comes in, it's gone. Now I really want you to hear that transition, because that's what automation is. It's about all the different transitions that take place. So let's really listen to this section. This bit makes it really quite jumpy, jumps out, really feels quite energetic. What I might actually do is I might actually start fading that little bit of guitar out, since it's the end of that section. Just fade it out a little bit faster. There are a plethora of ways you can fade out, and especially in DAWs, you'll know that you'll have the editing fade out section as well. What I'll do is I'll put that point there and then do this. Yeah, that looks good. Thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you got what you needed out of that tutorial. Please, as I said at the beginning of the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit the notification icon, that way you guys don't miss a thing, and it helps this channel grow into something special. If you're interested in contacting me about asking me about mix critiques or just any questions at all, I have my website down in the description below. If you just click on that and then contact me through there, that way I can actually get back to you. And lastly again, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope your snares are slamming today.